a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on JTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, the Wellness Center, Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Ticely Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports.
Welcome to this edition of The Big Story. I am Orlana, Glasgow, intern at JTV. Today, a call to save my generation. Put down the guns, stop the violence.
Put the guns down!
On August 2023, many children made this call during a march through the streets of Eastern Tortola.
Put the guns down! Save the generation! Put the guns down! Save the generation!
Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Whitley, addressed the gathering after the march.
We have a great battle on our hands in this community and in the entire Virgin Islands. And we have to have hope. We cannot give up hope. We cannot allow despair to overtake us. But we face a very significant challenge. And it is literally a battle between good and evil. It is a battle between love and hatred. It is a battle between peace and violence. And I think Soniel hit the nail on the head. What will determine whether we win this battle is literally you and I. Each individual in our community has to take responsibility, has to take accountability for winning this battle. We all know that our communities were places of peace. We all know all the stories about how we used to be able to sleep with the doors unlocked and the doors open. And we face a challenge now where quite literally we have murderers walking around in our community, quite likely interacting with some of us every single day. And we have to look and examine our society and how did we get to a place of peace and love and harmony in our communities to where we are today, where we have people who would literally, and it really saddens me when I think about it, a young girl who was gunned down in the West, a very young girl. Our instinct as men should be to protect our community, to protect those who are weakest among us, like our little children. But quite literally, we had people in our communities gun down little small children. And it shows you that we have lost our humanity. We have lost our compassion. We have lost the respect for life. And we have a challenge to regain that respect for life, to regain that love, to regain that peace. And it starts with each one of us. It starts with the children that we raise. The children who we literally bring up from nothing. We change their pampers, we feed them. We have to ensure that we raise children who will not grow up to be a threat to our peace and our security. And we have to pay attention to the values we teach our children. Before we had all of this prosperity and materialism, we taught those values. And we have to be sure we have not replaced those values with materialism, with individualism, with selfishness, with competitiveness as opposed to cooperation. We have to examine ourselves and what it is we are teaching to our children. We have to examine ourselves and to ask ourselves, are we really our brother's keeper? Because yes, we may raise our children with these values. Our homes may be doing okay. But what about your neighbor? What about your brother? What about your sister? How are they doing? And are you willing to step in when you see a gap in our community? When there's a single mother struggling to raise those children on her own, are we as a community willing to step in and to fill a gap? When there's no male present in the home, what about the other males in the society? Are you willing to fill a gap, to be an example for that young man, a positive role model? Are you willing to mentor? We have to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. And of course, government has its responsibility. That is without a shadow of a doubt. Government is responsible for making sure that our schools are functioning, to make sure that we have a social development department which are meeting the needs of struggling families. We have that responsibility. We have to have responsibility to make sure that our communities are well lit, that we have a police force which are equipped and well resourced to be able to confront crime and to solve crime. That is our responsibility, and that's a part of the challenge that I have and my colleagues have every day. It is certainly not an easy challenge, and I ask for you to pray for me and pray for other representatives in the government and those persons who put on the uniforms and who are tasked with the responsibility of protecting us. Pray for us. Cooperate with us. If you see something, say something. If you know somebody and you know that they're involved in wrongdoing, you counsel them. You advise them, look, you know what you're doing is wrong. Stop it. You're hurting our community. And our business people, we also have a responsibility as well to ensure that we help to create an economy that can produce jobs for our people and discourage our people from the quick money. That fast money is going to get you in trouble. We don't need all of the different examples. They're right before our eyes. You can get big gold chains, you can get fancy, expensive cars, you can get all of these things. But if you have to look over your shoulder every day, what is it worth? It's not worth anything. You have to look behind your shoulder and not be able to have a good night's rest because you're worried about who's coming for you. So we have a big challenge, but I'm encouraged and I have hope because of this grouping that we have here. And I'm looking forward to the marches that we have. We're going to have marches in Road Town and in Virgin Gorda and other places. And I'm looking forward to us rallying more support to this cause because we have to take a stand in our community. So I ask for our Most High God to strengthen us for the battle which is ahead, because it's not going to be an easy fight. But when God is for you, who can be against you? And with God with us, we will be victorious. Thank you. God's blessings to you. And look, let's all say a very special prayer and keep in our thoughts all the persons in our community who have lost loved ones. And I know we have some of them among us today. Let's keep them in our thoughts and our prayers, because certainly it is not easy to have our family members, our friends, members of our community taken away from us. But let us take a stand today and say, not one more. Not one more member of our community.
Kathy Richards spoke with a number of leaders who were present, and this is what they had to say.
It's very significant, Kathy, and I'm happy to see all the young people that came out today to join the Stop the Violence, Put on the Guns march in the East Orlana community. Kathy, as you know, recently we had a rash of violence within our community. Just under 5 young men has been laid down by gun violence in our community, from Fat Ox Bay to Eastern proper, ending up in the Orlana community. And the young people are saying that we had enough. Enough is enough, and they're taking a stand. They've organized around the different churches within the community. Members from the Pathfinders, the Adventists, members from the Church of God, the Prophecy, the Methodists, all of us are here in one accord to say, look, we had enough, stop the violence, we want back our community. And I really commend them for their efforts. I think this is what we have to do. We mobilize as a community. We work along with law enforcement, work along with the leadership and government. No one entity can do it by themselves. And I'm happy that the church has taken the mantle to get involved in the process. The young people have stepped up to the plate and said, look, we have had enough as well. We want back our community. We want a safe environment to play and to grow. And I think it begins with them. And it breaks that chain of violence within our community.
This is very important. We're sending a strong message, because not only our sons are dying, but their children were losing their fathers. We're losing our brothers. We're losing our friends. We're losing our cousin. And if we don't stop now, at least, let's ask for forgiveness. Let's bury the hatchet. You know, we have hurt each other. Probably we have offended each other. We have crossed each other's path. But this is the time for us to, for the sake of the generation, for the sake of the nation, let's put our arms down. And let's have a peace treaty between me and you, and let's bring things together and settle this. Because if we don't, we're going to destroy our very future. Well, we can look to see if we can help with a better relationship, because there are children who are waiting for that connection, to be connected. So the reunion of the father and son, we need to work on that, where we can have that relationship strengthened between the fathers and the sons.
I think this is a very, very phenomenal event that's happening here today in the 7th and the 8th district. Stop the violence, put the guns down, save a generation. I really, really feel that this is something that is needed in our community. Look at over the years, you know, we have lost so much youth, so much young men to gun violence. And I really feel that it's time that things change. Don't we think so? Yeah. I mean, yes, we might be young, you know, we've seen a lot, we heard a lot, but a lot of our brothers are dying, and we need to put a stop to it. We need to come together as one and to show love. What do you think?
Correct. And as Jacob was saying, you know, Jacob, myself, all of us live in the district. You know, Jacob and myself in particular, we're from the district. My grandmother's house right there by the park, you know, this is where we grew up. This is where we ramp and play, you know. And it's high time that something like this happens and needs to continue to happen. As I say, over the years, we've lost a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of people that we held dear to us because of gun violence, because of any type of violence. And it's time to save a generation. It's time to put those guns down. It's time to become a positive influence in the community. It's time to change the narrative for Long Look, for East End, for District 7, for District 8, change the stigma, change the narrative, and then extend it to the wider community and across the BVI that violence is not our way. guns is not our way. These things that take lives is not our way. Our way is to come to an amicable understanding when disputes are made, and let's do the right thing. Let's put these guns down. Let's save a generation. Let's look out for those below us and even those above us. Let's tell them, yo, take a halt on that. Find a different approach to solving this problem, but let's do the right way.
This is a really important event, and the reality is if persons can actually listen, and for this event to literally touch the heart, it can make a huge difference in our community and throughout our territory. There are a lot of young people that have been impacted. We're not aware of the impact, but if we take close stake and pay attention, we have to do things now. We can't just sit by and do nothing and just let it continue to happen. We really need to push together as a territory and work to change hearts so that we can truly, truly, truly make a difference and see the guns put down and a generation truly saved.
I think the organizers of this event need to be congratulated because every bit that can be done to bring the community together and help to prevent violence is a plus. And so the organization need to be commended. But more than anything else, the crowd that came out, especially the young people, I think it speaks volumes. There isn't a lot to be said about that. It shows that they're paying attention, they're listening, and they're appreciating that there is a problem that needs attention, and they are the ones who need to take the lead on this, because then it gives impetus to the decision makers to understand that they would like their future to be protected. And so I congratulate all the young persons who are here this afternoon supporting this march against violence.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Pearline Leonard and a resident of this district. I actually grew up here in the Longlow community. At the time of my growing up, you know, the elders, yes, there were disagreements, yes, they had arguments, and there were times that they would, as they would say, bust with a big rock. But the difference with the big rock and now is that you live to see another day. And we want to get our community back to the place where, you know, you see a child along the street, you can talk to that child. And that's really lacking in this community. That's what raised me. I couldn't go out in the community and do something bad and go home to my grandmother and complain the person who spoke with me or the person who would have probably given me a lash. More licks was coming. And this is something that I taught my children. When an adult speaks with you, you listen. When they're correcting you, you hear. And you listen and you carry out instructions. So it's not about my children, it's about our children. And that's what raises a community of children in the right direction. And we want every community out there in this territory to understand. You have to accept that it takes a village to raise a child. Put down those negative words towards your neighbors and let's raise our children together. If we don't, very soon, these very children that match here with us today, and by connection to the other districts, they are going to fall in the same line of thinking as we have now, killing each other, and we don't want that. We want to leave a legacy of stars, of individuals, intellects, doctors, lawyers, physicians, even sanitation workers, because there's nothing wrong with that, because they are people too. And so this is my drive behind this. I am fully in support of today's event. I am happy that it's now expanded to the children, because without them, this legacy of gun violence will not break. We need this group in order to break this whole thing. And I thank you for tuning in, and I'm sure that you are going to have a splendid time with us here today, even though you're online. And I will look forward to the comments after, and look forward to other communities doing similar. And hopefully one day we'll be able to have a territory-wide match where all the communities and all the districts and all the islands would be involved. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the big story. I am Orlana, Glasgow.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.